And as we do with all of our guests, we try to get to know you a little bit more and kind of get a feel for, where you're coming from as far as your taste in movies and stuff before we dive in.
What's the password? New England clam chowder. Is that the red or the white? I can never remember that. White?
And so we ask a couple questions. We have some questions that we really like, and I'll just get us started, and I'll start with Matt's since he's not here. He likes to know what your unsung gem is, and that just basically means any movie that you feel is underappreciated, not talked about enough, needs to be seen by more people, just something you love that you don't think gets enough credit. It's become one of our favorite rounds that we are recurring rounds we do. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's see, Caleb, what have you got for us here?
So funnily enough, when I had seen you guys were looking for guests for Rocky Horror Picture Show, I was like, oh, I need to watch that again because I watch it every year multiple times. And so that sent me kind of into like a Rocky Horror Picture Show, like deep dive, groundhog, like whatever you call it, rabbit hole. That's rabbit hole, yeah. And there is a very little known sequel to Rocky Horror Picture Show called Shock Therapy. I found it on YouTube. Shock Treatment. Thank you, Kelly. Yeah. Shock Treatment. I found it on YouTube, and it didn't at the time. It kind of flopped, didn't get really good reviews or anything, but I quite enjoyed it. And I don't think many people know, like a spiritual sequel. It's not really a sequel, but it has all the same actors in it. And then the main characters are Brad and Janet. And that's basically where the similarities end. But it was quite good. It was quite good. If you're looking for like Rocky Horror Picture Show, but a bit darker, then
cool.
I would
Darker.
say,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing, and I'm sure we'll talk about this, but that was one thing that surprised me about Rocky Horror is it was much darker than I anticipated. Even knowing like the subject matter and quite a bit about it, I was still surprised how there's cannibalism in this movie, for fuck's sake. So that's cool. I'll have to check it out. And Rocky Horror flopped itself, and it's become a cult icon. So yeah, and you said it was called
Shock treatment. Yes.
Shock treatment.
I wanted to call it shock therapy, but it's shock treatments.
Well, I have a feeling I'll be watching this movie again pretty soon, so maybe I'll follow it up with a double feature.
It's on YouTube, Kelly, so
cool. Okay, nice.
Sorry.
So,
no, you're good. Yeah, go ahead, Kelly.
So my unsung gem, I'm gonna have to shout out my friend Steve Rudzinski over at Silver Spotlight Films and talk about CarousHELL, HELL, and that is about a carousel horse that comes to life and kills people. And
shit, never good.
They just released the sequel to it, which I have not seen yet, but I absolutely love it. And Steve did our show, and we talked about the evolution of Duke the carousel horse, and all of the kill scenes, and it's just fun, and it's like 80s style gore, that doesn't look real, but is still just like amazing. And yeah, I just love it. So, CarousHELL.
It sounds fun. It sounds very much in the vein of like Chucky or the Leprechaun or like those sorts
killer
of
clowns or something
movies.
like that. I could definitely see that there.
Yeah,
that's cool.
It's great.
Well, it's probably come as no surprise, but nobody has mentioned those two movies before, and I think that's awesome. Like I like hearing that a lot. It's always super fun to kind of hear what other movies people love. My question kind of falls into a deserted island. You guys are stuck on an island. You've got provisions, you got whatever you need, but you're going to be there for a while. You also happen to have a TV and a Blu-ray player, and you get to take the filmography of one either actor or director with you onto this island. So if they're still alive, you get the stuff that they'll continue to make. If they're no longer alive, then you're pretty much capped off unless there's some like hidden movie somewhere in some vault. But yeah, I like to kind of get an idea, like who do people love? What would you want with you on the island? Kelly, I'm gonna throw it to you first.
All right. Well, when I saw the question, my first thought was Tarantino, but then I saw that I think it was Beth Ann from She Will Rock You said Tarantino. So I decided to go with Samuel L. Jackson, which is going to give me most of the Tarantino films, but also gems like Deep Blue Sea.
That's right.
That'll give you like most all Marvel movies too.
And Star Wars. You get like the first 3 Star Wars. Like that's a solid choice. That
I can't believe I never thought of Sam Jackson before.
Yeah.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, that's a wonderful choice. And I mean, he's a great actor on top of that. Like, you're going to get a ton of stuff, but he's so dynamic on screen. He's so fun to watch. I could watch the Big Kahuna Burger scene just on a repeat. I love that whole apartment scene so much.
Hamburgers, the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast.
So that's a great workaround. I can't even think off the top of my head if there's any. Is there any Tarantino that you don't get from that? Maybe Death Proof. So. I don't know.
He wasn't in 4 Rooms, I don't think.
Okay, yeah, so super early.
He
that's a
was
great
in
call.
True Romance for like 30 seconds, and that's my favorite movie of all time.
Really? Are you serious?
I love that.
Oh my God. I was just, we were talking last night and I was trying to explain Drexel Spivey to people. And I was like, I don't know how to explain Gary Oldman talking like in a Rastafari voice. It's like if Chet Hanks grew up and was even worse. It's like, I guess that's what Drexel Spivey is. So that's
how would
perfect.
that be possible?
I have no idea, but man, that's so cool. I love that. True Romance is great.
Yeah, great answer. Caleb, who you taking to your island with you?
Oh, gosh. I'm going to lodge a bet on this actor.
Okay.
He's going to go on to produce a lot more really great things. And he's already produced or been in pretty good things. So I want to take Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so mad. I'm sad that Matt's not here.
Yes.
He's a big R-Pat stan. He would have loved that answer.
Because he has the Batman coming up, and I really think that's going to propel his career into something else. Mm-hmm. And he's already such a fabulous, like, underrated actor. If you watch The Lighthouse, he is
I haven't seen it yet.
In The Lighthouse.
I've heard it's amazing, but I haven't seen it.
Phenomenal. The most mind-bendy, mind-fuckery movie you'll ever see. It's perfect. And then I watched him in Tenet.
Yeah, Tenet, yeah.
And he was really good in that too. So based off those 2 movies, and I mean, I'm always down for a Twilight rewatch. I'll do that.
I don't know if you've seen Good Time, but he's great.
Movie to
exactly.
So
you gotta have it.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson. I'd like to take his filmography. I almost said David Tennant just because of Doctor Who.
Oh, okay.
You get quite the catalog there.
You get a lot more catalog from that, but I have to go for Robert Pattinson.
I think that's a great call because, I was talking over you. I apologize, but he's great in Good Time from the Safdie brothers, the guys that did Uncut Gems. It was their movie before that. And then I just feel like the way things are going, as big as he is, this Batman universe is going to go big. And at some point, I'm sure Marvel's going to try to steal him. And it's just going to open up so many more doors, like you said. So I think that's a great call.
I think he's a great actor that's about to emerge into the Johnny Depposphere type of fame,
and how old is he too? Like we still have his whole
he's middle age and golden 30s, years. And,
yeah. That's a solid
and Leo
choice.
didn't do some of his best stuff until his 40s or 50s or whatever. So he could have that sort of trajectory too.
Honestly reminds me a bit of a Leo DiCaprio, so I could see him.
Yeah, and now with Kelly's, I'm like, we'll got to get him in a Tarantino movie. I'm going to see our paths in Tarantino. That'd be great.
That'd be great.
I guess he's got 1 movie left to maybe do it. Yeah, we'll see. So
Robert Pattinson as like Samuel L. Jackson's sidekick would be really interesting to see. He plays a sidekick so well.
Give me the buddy cop.
So it'll be interesting to see him as Batman. I'm so excited for that movie. In case you haven't been able to tell.
100%. I can't wait for that. I still can't believe Colin Farrell's in that trailer. I'm like, he's not in that, but they're all going to be great. Sweet. I love both of those choices, and I'm pretty sure those are both brand new answers as well. So that's awesome. Good call on that.
And And I can't believe that no one's taken Sam Jackson before. That's one of those ones that's like, why didn't I think of the pet rock? You know what I mean? Like, I could have been a millionaire.
Could have been me.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we got to thank She Will Rock You, because if I hadn't heard them take Tarantino, I probably would just want to automatically say Tarantino.
Shout out Leah and Beth Ann. Thank you so much.
There are a number of things, by the way.
They're amazing.
They're great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so this movie that we're about to talk about, Rocky Horror Picture Show, is famous for the in-person experience watching it. I've yet to partake in something like that. I'm hoping someday soon I can rectify that. But I just want to know about your favorite experiences watching movies, whether it's Rocky Horror or any other movie. I just love going to movies. I love the community aspect of it. I'm a people watcher, not in a creepy way. I do live in a van, but I'm not that creepy. But no, I just like being around people, and I like the weird things that happen when you're around other people and you can feel the buzz in the air. So yeah, I just want to know about some fun experiences you've had watching movies in theater, at a friend's house, doesn't matter. Caleb, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, my first immediate thought was going in to see, I think, the second Conjuring movie with my cousin.
Okay.
And there's this part where the nun like stands in front of her own painting, so you can't tell whether it's like the nun or the painting that that Lorraine did.
Yeah.
And I remember in the movie being like, oh hell no, just like in the theater. As the camera's panning into like the art piece.
Oh, it's awesome.
And everybody in the theater just busted up laughing, because I took that moment of tension and just completely ruined it, but for the best comedic reason.
I love it.
Sometimes that really works. I had a friend, we were seeing, I don't even remember the movie. It was some like action movie. I think it was a Jackie Chan movie. And someone, there's like this big fight scene, and it ends with like someone breaking someone's neck. And it was super tense, and the theater was super quiet. And my buddy sitting next to me, he's like, just like that. In the same way, like it was such perfect timing. And I don't know, it was just incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that.
I think the most I've ever felt like the electricity in like a theater, though, of like this community experience is when I went to see Avengers Endgame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And okay,
Absolutely.
Spoilers for Endgame, I guess. Like everyone's seen that, right?
Yeah,
but,
I was gonna say, yeah.
No, but I'm probably not going to see it.
Okay, good. It's okay if I spoil it for you then, Kelly.
Yeah.
The moment when Captain America summons Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
The cheers in the audience, I think like people watching whatever movie was playing in like 3 theaters down was just, that scene, I got goosebumps, and like you could feel it was just such a
so good.
That was the most powerful like movie experience that I've ever had with people. Like
I think that's such a good, I had never honestly like thought about the people seeing other movies at that time and what that was like. Also just have like a crowd just pop off like, oh my God, like just freaking out. Like, I have no idea. That must have been jarring for whatever they were watching.
Wouldn't you be so upset that you weren't in that other movie? Like, what the fuck? Why am I in
watching
this movie? Everyone's freaking out over there.
If they're not seeing Endgame, then they're probably not going to. So
exactly.
But it's like, I wonder what they were watching.
And then just crying with everybody at Tony Stark's funeral, just like everybody in the theaters just sobbing, and like it was such a that was such a good experience. I wish if I could see any movie over again with fresh eyes, or like travel back in time, I would probably choose that one.
That's a solid answer.
In some ways, in that like with that in mind, like, you know, going back and reliving it. If we're talking about Avengers, I might go back to Infinity War, because I'll never forget when the credits roll and you're like, what in the fuck just happened? They killed Spider-Man? They can't kill Spider-Man. Like, I had to call Ben immediately. I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going on. Like, you have Ben, you know about comics. You have to tell me what's going
happening
on
I
here.
remember walking home with my buddy, and we were just like in this stunned silence, and one of us would try to talk, and
the Black Panther's dead. What do we do now?
I know.
They killed T'Challa.
That night, my girlfriend and I were driving up to see her brother in Seattle, and it was like we were leaving from the movie theater, and we ended up like stopping in Boise along the way. But it's just like, man, just driving, just processing that. It's like I think I entered Idaho before realizing I was driving. You know, I was like, what was all that? Like, there's so much that happened. It's crazy. But that was, I like that. I like that idea of a question too. Like, what would you go back and watch for the first time if you could? I think that's solid. That's really good.
I might change mine to that. But
it's a good one.
Before I do that, I want to know about Kelly. What's your favorite experience watching a movie?
So I am old and I'm antisocial. So I don't really like the theater, but I'm old enough to remember the drive-in, which was awesome. And I remember going to the drive-in when we were little, when me and Kara were little, and seeing Cujo. And
wow.
Yeah,
holy shit.
Because our parents, like, we watched what they wanted to watch. They're like, we're not watching, like, you know, Sesame Street and shit. We're watching, you know, we're watching what we want to watch.
I'll show you a dog movie.
But yeah, I remember me and Kara like watching Cujo, and I think we both fell asleep in the back of the car, you know. But
the safest bet probably watching that.
I would love for them to bring drive-ins back, and I've heard that there are some in some places. Like I think there, my boss said there's one in Colorado, but
Yeah, we're lucky. We have one here in Salt Lake. So Matt and I actually, during the pandemic, we went to the drive-in to go see Tenet there. So that was like kind of cool because it was like one of the few places that you could go see it, you know, it needed to be outdoors and stuff. So it's fun to have that. And, you know, we might be heading to the drive-in a little later this evening. So I'm excited to do that again.
Stay tuned. Segue. Well, yeah, no, thank you. That's one of our favorite parts of this podcast. You know, I think we talked about it before recording, but we just like meeting new people like y'all and getting to know you and hearing about all these experiences and living vicariously. So, thanks for taking the time. And you are now officially members of the movie club.
Clubhouse members. Really like loud celebratory music right now. It'd be perfect.
I'll have to make a note for the editor there.
Yeah, let our intern know.